Hey everyone, Rob here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today I got a video that I've wanted to do for a very long time, ever since the silver to gold ratio has gotten just very far out of hand. This is $100,000 worth of silver. It's actually worth quite a bit more than that because they're older collectible pieces, but I wanted to show what $100,000 worth of melt weight silver. So if you melted all this down and you refined it all just for the precious metal content of it, this would be $100,000 worth of silver. So I actually have 5,100 ounces showing, and I have 400 ounces hidden behind here that I got to stack up on here to make it a perfect 5,500 ounces of silver, which if you multiply that by $18 an ounce is roughly $100,000. So while I'm putting these bars up on here, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. I know it's redundant. I know I always keep saying it. It really does help the YouTube algorithm if you click that thumbs up button and more people can see this content. It'll put the video higher if I just be straight up about it. It helps beat the YouTube algorithm and put this video higher up on the rankings so more people can view this content. And if you think this content is worthwhile, please click that red subscribe button down below. That really helps as well, and you also will be notified of the future videos coming out. I don't like to make clickbait videos. When I do a video, it's the real deal. So if you do subscribe, I hope that you won't be disappointed. So let me put these last bars up on here. So that is 5,200 ounces, 5,300 ounces, 54. And by the way, like I'll show you this one here. This is a rare Engelhard bar. All of these are rare Engelhard bars, and this is a homestake mining bar. If you know your collectible silver, this is all really premium stuff, but I just wanted to show exactly what 5,500 ounces of silver looks like. And this is the final 5,500 ounces. We'll put it in the middle here. And as you can tell, even these little 100-ounce bars are not exactly light, especially when you're kind of leveraging yourself out that way. But there you have it. This is almost 400 pounds of silver. If you calculate it, it's 70 pounds per 1,000 ounces. So I believe that comes out on 5,500 ounces. I think that's 385 pounds of silver, which roughly 400 pounds. So you're not exactly going to throw this in a backpack. I call these the bottom of the safe weights. You know, if you don't bolt your safe to the floor, which we do obviously, but if you don't, it's kind of hard to move 400 pounds. So that, again, is $100,000 worth of melt weight silver. Behind it here, I have $100,000 worth of gold. But before I go into that, I'd like to talk about the gold to silver ratio. Because if you look in detail on this ratio and you study the chart on it, it'll tell you that silver looks very undervalued. In 2011, it'd be better if I just pull up the chart. I actually figured out how to mirror the chart here and show it on my computer while I'm on the YouTube feed here, YouTube video. I'm learning as we go along. I'm learning. We're gonna get through this together. That's why I appreciate you being one of the first subscribers to this channel. I'm learning as we go along, and I think that this content is something that the general public should know about. So let me see if I can mirror it. There we go. This is the gold to silver ratio. Hopefully you can still hear me and I did this right. So the microphone still works. So at its lowest point, and when we say lowest, that basically means 15 ounces of silver in 1967 bought 1 ounce of gold. In relative retrospect, that's how much silver it took to buy an ounce of gold. Now, if you could imagine, if it was 15 to 1 still, I would have quite a bit of money on my table here, a lot more than 100,000. Today, the gold to silver ratio is 95. It's ranging between 95 and 110, kind of back and forth in the fluctuation here. At the highest, it was almost 115 on the gold to silver ratio, meaning it took 115 ounces of silver to buy 1 ounce of gold. Today, I believe it is 95. Yeah, June 2020, it is 95. So that means it takes 95 ounces of silver to buy 1 ounce of gold today. Now, the reason I think silver is lining up to be a great investment opportunity is because if you look back on the last financial collapse of 2007, so 2007, 2008, you saw the ratio jump up because metals sold off in the beginning, because in the beginning of a collapse, everything sells off. All the metals are going to sell off because they're covering their margin positions on things that are now in the negative. So at the beginning, you see a little spike like that because silver and gold were selling off. And then after the financial collapse, you see everybody going into the safe havens. And the safe havens here was silver and gold. Now, at that point, you see the gold to silver ratio around 35 to 38. Now, that was just in 2011. This was only 9 years ago. And this was back when silver nearly touched $50 an ounce. I believe it peaked at $48 an ounce in 2011. Now, that was only 9 years ago. If you could imagine if silver was $48 an ounce, what would be sitting on my table would be quite a bit of money. But the main thing to be looking at is its relative value to gold here. We're not talking about the fact that silver was $50 an ounce. We're talking that it only took 37 ounces of silver to buy 1 ounce of gold. Whereas today, it nearly takes 100 ounces of silver to buy 1 ounce of gold. The ratio has gotten way far off. And actually in California, there's an old mine called the 16-to-1 mine. And that's because it used to be 16-to-1 pre-1970. Ironically enough, after they dropped the gold standard in 71 is when this gold to silver ratio got so far out of hand. If I'm going to go back to the main screen here, there we go. If I'm going to kind of put on my conspiracy hat, and this is just my opinion, I don't speak factually here, it's just my opinion, silver has always been the poor man's gold. So AKA the average citizen can afford to store their money in silver and feel comfortable about it. If I'm going to put on my conspiracy hat, which is just my opinion, throwing that out there, it's been kind of falsely suppressed. Is it going to continue to be falsely suppressed? I don't know. But because it's so attainable to the average citizen, being only $18 an ounce, I think it's been falsely suppressed. And I think in the time when you inject trillions of dollars into the ecosystem, you're going to find inflation. Just simply put. And this isn't saying the stock market's going to collapse, although I do think it's very overvalued. I think the more Powell puts money into the system, the more the money the Fed injects into the system, it's going to cost more dollars to buy something. AKA silver and gold are going to go up in value, just like we saw gold go from $11.50 an ounce to $1,800 an ounce very recently over the last couple years. So that's not exactly a small gain, by the way. If you actually study the gold chart, and silver's starting to trail its way up here at 18. If it breaks 20, we might see a little bit of a breakout in silver. But like I said, I feel that silver has been falsely suppressed in comparison to gold due to being attainable. That's just my personal take on it, and that's why I stack so much silver. I think it's very undervalued. So now, after all that rambling, I'm going to show you what $100,000 worth of gold looks like. Now, I kind of spread it out of 56 ounces of just smaller gold pieces here. But this is what, if we put that in front here, hopefully that all shows. No, it doesn't really show, does it? Pull it up here. This is what $100,000 of gold looks like relative to the silver here. Now, these are all more kind of rare bars. This is an old Johnson Matthey 10-ounce bar. This is an old New York assay bar, 7-ounce gold bar. As you all know me from Mineral Exchange, I like more of the collectible gold and silver, the older, hard to find pieces. This is a Johnson Matthey London, New York piece. So just right here is, that's 15 ounces of gold. And then there's 22 ounces of gold right there. Then we got a 100-gram Rothschild here. We'll just kind of stack it up. That's about a little bit over 25 ounces of gold. This is a 2.5 ounce bar. A couple 1 ounce bars. So you get the point. And these are some 100-gram gold Combi bars. These are kind of cool being breakaways. These aren't rare or anything. They're more modern, generic pieces, but they're cool 100-gram gold sheets. Each one of these goes for about $6,000 each, a little bit more than that now. So just here, you have roughly, I think these are about 6,200, 6,300 each. So if you multiply it times 3, you're looking at 18,000 to 20,000. We'll just call it 20,000 and round it up. So this plus, let's pull this 100-grammer here. All this together, by the way, is 56 ounces of gold. So if you pulled this is right here, $25,000 worth of gold. So this is a quarter of this tray here. So that would be a quarter worth of the silver in front of me, being 25,000, as the silver is $100,000 worth of melt weight silver. This is $100,000 worth of melt weight gold. Obviously, this is all more rare collectible pieces because I specialize in that, but just to give you the relative value of the gold and silver, I think it kind of does the point. Does the trick, rather. I'll probably make more videos showing what these look like. I was hoping when I put the tray down over there you could see it better, but when I looked at my screen you couldn't really tell. Let me see if I can just put it down quick. Maybe when I get done with the video, I will put those, take the camera and I'll move it a little bit at the end of this video. But as you can see on that little tray versus the amount of silver here, if the silver to gold ratio went back to the 2011 levels, I would be a very happy camper because this silver would be worth a lot more money. So the entire point of this video is just to show the relative nature between silver and gold, how far off it's gone since 1970. And in relative respect to the dollar, in 1970, I should have had a chart ready for this, but if you look up this information, it's true. From 1970 until today, the dollar has lost 98% of its value. That's a real statistic. So $1 bought it today, a dollar from 1970 today buys 98% less than what it bought in 1970. At the same time in 1970, from the chart I just showed you, you could tell that silver was at a 16-to-1 ratio. Now it's at a nearly 100-to-1 ratio. And the easiest way to put that is silver's almost $18. It's a little bit over $18 an ounce. Gold is almost $1,800 an ounce, 100-to-1. Takes 100 ounces of silver to buy 1 ounce of gold. In 1970, it took 16 ounces of silver to buy 1 ounce of gold. Now, with all the money they're injecting into our ecosystem here, is that going to make precious metals go up in value? Is that going to make all commodities go up in value? Probably. As in, they are printing this, so it's going to take more of it to buy things. A cheeseburger that was 20 cents in 1970 is now $15 or $10, $15, depending on where you're going if you're getting a fancy cheeseburger. In the next 10 years, a cheeseburger will probably be $25, $30 if we're still going by dollars then. Long story short, with inflation, I think precious metals is a great place to be. I don't like being the precious metal salesman that's like, you know, gold to $10,000 an ounce. It's so undervalued. Silver over $100 an ounce. Now, do I think it's possible for it to get there? Yes, I do. But is that my line to sell you on precious metals? No. I think precious metals is a great hedge against hyperinflation. I think it's proven to be a great hedge against hyperinflation. In 1970, in 1970, an ounce of gold, I believe, was $70 an ounce. It could have been as low as $30 an ounce, but it was, let's just say it was less than $100 an ounce in 1970. Today, it's $1,800 an ounce. Now, did the stock market outperform it? Yes. Were there other places to put your money that outperformed gold? Yes. Did it outperform the dollar? Absolutely. Gold outperformed the dollar. The dollar lost 98% of its value. Gold jumped over 20x return. It's a hedge against hyperinflation. It's a great insurance policy. And if you're looking for a place to park some of your investable income, silver and gold is a great place to be. As you can tell from the silver gold ratio, I think silver is highly undervalued. Do I think all precious metals are going up? Yes. Do I think specifically silver is undervalued? Yes. So that's the video. Kind of got off on a tangent there, but I hope it was worthwhile and it gave you a little bit of a different perspective on the silver to gold ratio. I will do another video on the cool bars that I have here, and that if you wanted to see what these actual bars look like, just put a comment below. If you have any input, please put a comment below on anything I might have missed out upon, things that I might be wrong about that you think I'm wrong about, because I'm wrong all the time. You know, it's Elon Musk that said that. It's I love the line he said. It goes something along the lines of I strive to be, I look at every situation as if I'm already wrong. My goal is to be less wrong, not more right. And I'm trying to be like that myself, because I'm wrong so much that the goal really is to just be less wrong and start being a little bit more right. So in this situation here, I've done quite a bit of research, and this is what my research has shown. If you have any counter arguments, or if you agree and you want to put your perspective in it, please put a comment down below. I really like looking at the comments. I respond to every single comment. If you go to my videos I did yesterday, every single person that comments, I like to respond to and read each individual comment. And again, if you want to give a thumbs up and subscribe, I would really appreciate that. Again, sorry for getting off on a big tangent. It's kind of a lot to take in, but thanks again for watching. Signing out. I will see you at the next video.